Well, folks, the government is still shut down at the moment I sit down in this chair to make the video. I don't really look for it to open up anytime soon. But what we're learning is that Donald Trump can never be blamed with any of this, even though he himself said that if the government shuts down, it's the president to blame, because he said you won't remember who the House Speaker is 100 years from now. You're going to remember the president. So it's the president's job to get people in a room and make a deal. And he's the dude that wrote the book, The Art of the Deal. So you would think that he would be on it and saying, hey, I can't let this make me look bad because people are going to remember me 100 years from now. I'm not Mike Johnson. You would think he would want to step in and save the day, but he doesn't. And when J.D. Vance was asked this question about, hey, listen to what Trump had to say, J.D. says, well, that's because Obama was president back then. Take a look.
I want to play you a little bit of what President Trump had to say about shutdowns past when Barack Obama was president. Take a look.
If there is a shutdown, I think it would be a tremendously negative mark on the President of the United States.
They're not going to be talking who the head of the House was, the head of the Senate. I really think the pressure is on the president.
If you were president, what would you do?
Well, very simply, you have to get everybody in a room. You have to be a leader. The president has to lead. You have to get the people in a room, and you have to get a deal.
Mr. Vice President, by President Trump's own calculus, the pressure is on him to get everyone into a room and get a deal, is it not?
Well, Kristen, I wouldn't focus on the political pressure to get a deal. We really don't care what the poll numbers say.
But what about what President Trump said?
What's good for the
What
American
about what
people.
Mr. Trump said, his own words?
Well, Kristen, the president was talking back then when Barack Obama was president about the political realities. We are focused now on the governing realities because we're in power and we're trying to make the American people's government work for the American people, despite the fact that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have shut down the government.
Yeah.
So basically what J.D. Vance is saying here is that when it's Barack Obama, he can be blamed for a government shutdown, but Donald Trump can't be. And that's Maga's MO. Donald Trump can never be guilty of anything. He can never be the blame for anything. It's always the radical left Democrats, even though they have no power whatsoever. Donald Trump is the president. He has the House. He has the Senate. He has the Supreme Court. The Democrats should not be getting one up on him at the moment. I don't know if they realize how this sounds when they come out and say that this is a Democratic shutdown when they have all the cards. Trump loves to say that. You don't have the cards. Well, Trump, you got the cards here. You absolutely could open it back up. It never had to shut down to start with because all you had to do was just override those Democrats. But they didn't. They shut it down, and we all know why we believe it's shut down. I'm of the opinion that it's shut down because they're not wanting to release the Epstein files. I truly do believe that. I mean, it's just the timing of it is too close for me to think anything else. And they don't have an idea for health care. They never have. Whenever they say that they're going to fix health care, what they mean is they're going to gut it. They're going to destroy it. They're going to get rid of it. And then they'll sit back and blame it on Democrats. And that's how they always do this. They never have an idea on how to fix anything. Their idea is to tear down what a Democrat put in place and then blame the Democrat when all things go to hell. This big bullshit bill that they passed, it's going to affect people where I'm from. It's going to really, truly affect those people. But they will spin it that, oh, well, that was the Democrats did that to you. It was never Donald Trump. It can never be Donald Trump. And they can never answer a question straight. J.D. Vance in his interviews, to me, they're actually more cringe than Trump's. Because when it's Trump, you just know that he's spinning a whole bunch of bullshit and doesn't even know what he's saying half the time. But J.D. is the type of person who sits there and just looks right into the camera and ducks and dodges questions and all accountability and responsibility. And I think what's so nauseating about it to me is that I grew up in an era when the Republicans always preached about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, taking responsibility, taking accountability. They never do that. In this next clip, he's being asked about Governor Pritzker, and he's being asked, do you think that Governor Pritzker committed a crime? Watch him duck and dodge. He never answers. Take a look. Folks, I would like to talk to you about Chapter. Medicare is supposed to benefit seniors, but it can be so confusing. And with many agents chasing commissions instead of caring about folks, millions of seniors end up on plans that aren't right for them every year, paying too much or not getting the care that they need. And that's just wrong. Listen, Medicare annual enrollment runs from October 15th through December 7th. Even if you like your current Medicare plan, it's critical to look at 2026 plans or you risk losing coverage you need. That's because plans change every year and some just disappear. That's why I want you to know about Chapter. They're the only advisors that check every plan nationwide to make sure you get one that works best for you. Their help is free and they can review your options in under 20 minutes. If you're on the right plan, they'll tell you. If not, they'll help you switch. By doing this, they've saved people an average of $1,100 a year. So call Chapter today, get it done fast, and rest easy. You can reach them at 314-732-0423.
Governor Pritzker is our next guest. President Trump has said that he should be in jail. Do you think Governor Pritzker has committed a crime?
Well, I think Governor Pritzker has certainly failed to keep the people of Illinois safe. And it's interesting to me, Governor Pritzker will talk a lot, I'm sure, about how bad Donald Trump is, about how bad I am, and about how bad the administration is. He is the governor of a state that where its biggest city has murder rates that rival the most violent places in the third world, George. Why is he so mad at Donald Trump for trying to keep Chicagoans safe? He should be mad at the criminals that he has failed to keep at bay. We're trying to help him, and we're trying to help the residents of his biggest city. I wish that he would let us, because he certainly isn't doing the job himself.
I asked if you agree with President Trump that Governor Pritzker has committed a crime.
Well, I think that Governor Pritzker has allowed a lot of people to be killed in the city of Chicago and elsewhere, George. I think that it's disgraceful, and I think that he absolutely should suffer some consequences for the fact that there are thousands of innocent Chicagoans who are dead because he failed to do his job.
It's really a yes or no question. Do you believe he's committed a crime?
George, you're going to keep on asking this question. I'm going to keep on telling you that Governor Pritzker has failed to do his job. He should suffer some consequences. Whether he's violated a crime, ultimately, I would leave to the courts. But I certainly think that he has violated his fundamental oath of office. That seems pretty criminal to me. I'd leave it to a judge and jury to decide whether he's actually violated the crime.
I could sit here and show you more of that interview, and I could show you other interviews that J.D. Vance has done lately where he always does that. He refuses to answer the question, looks right into the camera, and lies his ass off with no shame whatsoever. And this is coming from the dude that said he was a never Trump guy. But the one part that I always point out about his never Trump quote is when he said Trump is a guy like Nixon who might prove to be useful. And I really do believe at the end of the day, J.D. Vance knows he's lying. He knows he's bullshitting you, and he knows that he's not answering the question. He also knows that he doesn't have to answer the question in Maga because they never hold anybody to any standard at all. So I do believe this guy is absolutely riding Donald Trump's coattail, and he's using him to push everything through that Project 2025 wanted to be pushed through. And then when it's over, they'll have complete control of everything and they can let Donald Trump go. I really do believe they'll continue to ride him as long as they can and get as much out of him as they can, because they do realize that for whatever reason, he connects with his idiotic base, and they can't. I promise you, if J.D. Vance is the one that has to sit and talk to people, even where I'm from, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Brando, they'll vote Republican no matter what. They may vote Republican, but they won't be as excited to get behind J.D. Vance because he comes off like he's talking down to people. And he comes off like that he's better than you, and he's looking down at you, and he's looking down at your nose when he's talking to you. He doesn't talk with anybody. And so if that's who ends up being the front runner, I believe as long as we got somebody on our side that can complete a sentence and can look into the camera and shoot straight, I believe if the elections are fair and if we have elections, then I do believe that they would absolutely dogwalk J.D. Vance. But he's cagey. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that he's stupid, because he's cagey. He knows how to play this, and he knows how to shift the blame. But how he could sit there with a straight face and go, oh, well, that was when Obama was president. I can tell you that if the roles were reversed and we were in the middle of a government shutdown, and let's say Kamala Harris was president, same thing, but it's Kamala Harris as the president, and let's say she had the Senate, she had the House, she had the Supreme Court, had all the ball was completely in her court, and the odds was in her favor. If she was sitting there saying it's the Republicans' fault, I'd be calling bullshit. I'd be saying, no, it's not the Republicans' fault, you're in control. And if you went back and found clips of her saying that a president would be responsible for a shutdown, and then she said, oh, that was just when Trump was president, I would be calling bullshit, because that's what reasonable people do. But we always got to remember, we're not up against reasonable people, but we're up against people who are ready to vote. They're absolutely ready to go out there and vote, and they're excited to get behind this type of lunacy that goes against their own interest, and how they can sit there with a straight face. Somewhere deep down, they got to know they're being played. They have to. Because if nothing else, you would think they would look at it and go, well, why can't we get the government reopened? Because we're in control. You would think they would at least say that. But they're just too prideful. A lot of them just cannot seem to let it go. But folks, I do appreciate you so much for supporting what it is that I do here on the channel. We're on the road to 1 million subscribers, and I do believe we'll get there soon. So if you haven't already, be sure and hit that button, because it helps. It really helps us here on the channel. And if you want to get on the conversation, leave a comment, drop a blue heart. Just helps to boost the videos and the algorithm. Hit that notification bell too, so that you know whenever I post a video. That's one of my favorite things to do with the creators that I follow. I want to know when they posted. I want to know when they made the video. And it's helpful to me to get that notification as to who posted what, because it's so easily to miss stuff. So I do appreciate your all's support. We'll continue to sit here and call it out. It's a full-time job when you do, because we are up against the most hypocritical bastards in American history. But we're not going to back down. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep fighting for freedom and democracy. And we're going to have to continue to stand up against insanity and call it that. To say that, well, that's just when Obama was president, and not take responsibility, it's insanity. It's delusion. And we're always going to call it as such.